Welcome back, folks, to A Shot of Business Central and a Beer, the podcast where ERP meets IPA, and a business software is way more fun than your accountant lets on to be.
And this is not just any episode, Michael. It's the big 7-0. That's right, 70 episodes of us talking Business Central, drinking beer, and somehow still not getting hired as Microsoft's official spokespersons.
I know, right? You'd think by now they'd at least send us a keg or something decent.
Or at least a free Copilot subscription, but nope. Instead, today, we're going to be breaking down the Business Central 2025 Release Wave 1 plan.
Oh yeah, baby. We've got some new features, AI updates, and some enhancements that might just make your job easier, or at least make your consultants sound smarter.
Speaking of AI, we'll chat about that too, because at this point, if you're not talking AI in your podcast, are you even a podcast?
True, very true. Plus, we've got the latest in Business Central news, and of course, we'll be cracking open a cold one to keep things balanced, because for every new BC feature, there's a beer that makes it even better.
So grab a drink, kick back, and let's dive into A Shot of Business Central and a Beer, episode 70. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 70. Michael, how you doing today?
I'm kicking it like karate, Ken. Living the dream, woke up, can't complain. It's getting a little warmer outside, so I'm doing good. How about you?
All right, yeah, spring is in the air. And today happens to be one of my favorite days of the year, and that is the day that we get to share one of 2 days a year, right? That we get to share the upcoming features that are going to be coming out in the next wave release of Business Central. In this case, 2025 Release Wave 1.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite days too. Honestly, it rivals Valentine's Day for me. So no, it's one of the more fun days with the podcast.
I was going to say Christmas, right? Opening all these new presents that are coming, right? That we get to look forward to.
Oh, I'm super emotional. I put up Cupid things around my house all the time. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I can see that with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we got that, and we'll talk some AI as usual, and some news for Business Central. But before we get into all that fun stuff, first and foremost, we know what the priority here is on this podcast. That is the beer drinking.
Pretzels.
We also have some hot sauce pretzels that we're going to be diving into also. But for the beer today, it's been about 6 years since we started this, right? And in case maybe you haven't been listening to all the episodes, you may not know, Michael, when we first started this podcast, was a self-described non-beer drinker. Right?
Yeah, very, very maybe social beer drinker. And I don't even know if I'd say social, right? I mean, when I'd go out, I wouldn't choose beer to drink. But every now and then at home, hot day, whatever, I crack open a Corona or Modelo. Yeah. Those are my go-to beers.
Yeah. So
other than that, never.
So we forced Michael to consume beer every month.
God, it's terrible.
Every year, sometimes multiple beers.
Yeah.
Right? So,
terrible.
Hopefully maybe it didn't inflict too much psychological damage on you.
No, I'm out of rehab now 2 months.
So today I thought we were going to do something funny. So I picked up some beer and I just poured 2 beers into 2 pint glasses just like 2 minutes ago. And Michael has no idea what the beer is.
No idea.
I'm going to just send over in a second here one of the glasses. And we're going to see, Mr. Corona here who right?
All beers tasted the same.
Everything tasted the same.
It was like Corona and everything else.
Beer is beer. Yeah. We're going to see today, how does he know what kind of beer this is? Maybe can he guess the ABV? Can he pick up what IBUs is this? Maybe what types of notes or characters he picking up in the beer? So let's do this. Let's do this. Here we go. So I'm gonna passing it over and just riff on it, Michael. All
right. So right away, if I can describe it to people, it looks maybe a shade darker than your average Miller Lite, right? I would think it's just a little bit darker. Not a lot of head. Very carbonated. I like carbonation. Let's give it a quick smell. Smells IPA-ish to me right off the bat. We'll see.
Okay.
It smells like maybe it's something that we've had before, but I do not know. So let me give it a little taste here.
Yeah. Refreshing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if I had to guess, I'm definitely going to say it's an IPA.
Okay.
Let me give another quick. I feel like one of those wine sommeliers.
I will tell you, let's confirm. You are correct.
I am correct. It is an IPA.
It is an IPA.
Okay. Yeah. So color, taste, and smell so far.
It's got that color, right? Just a traditional IPA color.
Sometimes color can be deceiving.
Hoppiness.
Yeah. So if I had to put an alcohol content number to it, it's not overly powerful alcohol-wise. But it is an IPA, so it's got to be around the 5 to 5.5 mark at the most, I would say, right? So if I had to guess, I'm going to go with 5, just because it could be 4.5, but 5 is kind of in the middle, so 5% we're going to say.
That's pretty impressive. The actual ABV is 4.7.
Oh, so 4. Yeah.
So you're
rolling. Let me see notes now. Notes are going to kill it. Got a little slurp in there. All right, so this is where I'm not going to kill it. To me, it's a hoppy beer. But notes-wise, it's got that aftertaste to it. Not horse blanket. I'm kidding.
It's the hop, bitterness. Yeah.
It's not really floral. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
So a little floral. I don't know. Nothing's like really sticking out. Just
looking for one more word. One more word, and you are like freaking grand slam here.
Gonna get it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get it.
All right.
Go ahead. Hit me with it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good though. All right. So what we're drinking.
I will say that we have had this before on the show.
Don't think so.
No? Damn. Should shut my mouth.
All right. So what we're drinking here is Founders Brewery.
Okay.
In Michigan. All Day IPA.
Oh, we have not had it on the show.
So it's a session. It's referred to as a session IPA, which just means that it's a lower ABV. So you can drink more than 2 without getting blasted. Right. Now, here are the tasting notes. Refreshing citrus.
Oh, citrus, yeah.
Floral and tropical fruit notes with moderate bitterness and a crisp, clean finish.
Yeah, citrus for sure. Floral. I wouldn't say the tropical notes. I don't think those are that overpowering, but definitely the citrus and the crispness and the aftertaste. Yeah, absolutely.
So I brought this in today because this has become my go-to beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which makes sense with Michigan and everything.
I think it's like got the perfect balance of flavor and like crispness, that carbonation you mentioned, and that clean finish, and low ABV.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a 7.5. So you can have like a couple of them. It's not too heavy.
So you drank it. So when you say go to, I mean, is that go-to because price-wise it's good.
It also is accessible. So like comes in a 15 pack, which is a little unique.
Yeah.
I want to say the last time I bought a 15 pack, it was $18.
Gotcha.
So compare that. So a 15 pack for $18, you're talking what, $1?
Yeah.
30 or something per beer.
Nothing wrong with that.
Compare that to a 6 pack of Three Floyd Zombie Dust,
Right.
which runs you about $14 or $15.
Yeah.
You're talking $2.50 a beer, or other 4 packs of tall boys, some of which we've had a couple, like Maplewood. We recently had. But I think it's like $13-14 for 4 beers.
Yeah. So this is your go-to then, considering all those factors. It's not like your favorite beer,
no,
taste-wise, but if you put everything together,
but it's my every day.
Yeah.
Like
gotcha.
I've been stock. Like I'll always have some of this in stock.
Yeah.
I may also get some pilsners or lagers or stouts or something else, or some other stuff on hand.
Yeah.
Or Coors Light or Coronas, but I will. This is my house beer. Put it that way.
It's a good beer. It's a really good beer.
It's not offensive to too many people. It's like you can
no, but it has those beer characteristics too. You know what I mean? It's not on the craft opposite of the craft spectrum. You know what I mean?
Right.
It retains some beer characteristics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, are you shocked that it did pretty well?
I'll tell you what, I'm not surprised at all.
Oh, stop. I shocked myself.
I'm not surprised at all. We're drinking like 100 different beers and analyzed them and read ratings and,
Still.
No, man, you're a pro. As a matter of fact, there is a term, I don't know if people are probably not familiar with this, but if they're a wine drinker, right?
Sommelier.
A sommelier.
Yeah.
Very good. Is an expert in wine. Did you know there is a beer expert? It's called a master cicerone.
What?
It's an Italian term. You're Introvertolo is Italian. What do you know what cicerone?
No, I have no idea what it means. No,
it's someone I forget. I'm going to butcher this, but it's like just
somebody.
It's a more generic term for someone who's knowledgeable in an area.
I gotcha.
So they've adopted this term, cicerone, and there's 4 levels of it, and I think we're level 1 cicerones. You and I,
maybe. I mean,
I think we are.
Yeah.
We can tell what the types of beers that are out there and identify them.
Now, is level 1 also considered the beer? What's the website we go on to check the beer?
Beer Advocate.
Beer Advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I feel like I'm a little bit a step above people on Beer Advocate just because they're pretty biased.
Yeah.
So maybe we're level 2.
Maybe level 2. Maybe it's a possibility. Level 4. Ridiculous, right? Like you have to pass like a 2-day, 12-hour multi-format exam that's led by, and I think there's only 19 or 20 master cicerones in, I don't know if it's North America or the US.
Wow.
Maybe it was just the US. So it's a very tight-knit group.
So I'm not sold on the wine sommeliers. I've seen the debunking of them and whatnot, and I'm sure there is some truth to some of the things they do. But, wine to me all tastes the same kind of, you know what I mean? It's all within a...
Yeah, there's a much wider...
Exactly, with beer.
scope.
So I could see that being true with the cicerones,
Yeah. So, we'll consider ourselves stage 1 to stage 2 cicerones.
Yeah, not bad. Good choice with the beer, too. Yeah.
Well done. I'm not surprised at all. Hopefully you enjoy it, just because I brought it in, and it is I enjoy it.
No, it's a good beer.
So I think it's just an easy drinking, flavorful, crisp beer. So let's get into it. We got a shot coming up next. Go through some Business Central news, then our feature segment, 2025 Wave 1, and then a little bit of AI and some hot sauce pretzel sticks to wrap up AI snack time.
It's time for the shot of Business Central. And to start us off with, Microsoft for Business Central released minor update 25.4. So feature changes that I think people should know about is there's basically two of them. The first one is chat with Copilot from anywhere. So update 25.4 extends the public preview of Copilot chat to all Business Central countries and regions. It's been here in the US, but let's see what else. Customers upgrading to this version of Business Central have to first enable chat with Copilot. We all know that type of stuff. Second feature change, or feature update, I should say, is package resources and extensions and access from AL. So way above my pay grade, but what it is developers will be able to package resources and extensions and access the content of these resources from within AL code. This can be used to ship data for setup and initialization features, for example, for rapid start packages, demo data, templates, and much more.
Okay.
Thereby avoiding having to use labels or code units for this purpose. I think for developers, it might be pretty beneficial. Moving right along, there is a refreshed Business Central capabilities guide. I think the last time it might have been refreshed was 5 years ago. So
Due for an
pretty nice to
update.
see. Yeah, due for an update. We'll put the link in the show notes. And to go along with the 2025 release wave 1 that is upcoming, Microsoft has put out a 2025 release wave 1 cleanup guide. We will include the link in the show notes as well. So really what this is Microsoft is doing some housekeeping in Business Central. And according to them, significant changes are coming within the release wave 1 cleanup. Basically everything that was,
deprecated.
Thank you, deprecated in years past. They're just going to get rid of it, right? It's just been lingering and everything, so it's time to get rid of it.
Little house cleaning, basically.
Yeah, house cleaning. Yeah. So basically, for instance, permanent deletion of obsolete elements.
There you go.
All tables, table extensions, and table fields that have been in the obsolete, remove state for more than one major release will be permanently deleted. That does affect the base application and all other first-party apps.
That should make maybe improve the performance, make maintenance a little bit easier. Just some
even upgrades, whatever it may be. Yeah,
house
absolutely.
cleaning. Yeah.
All right, what else? Yeah, that's pretty much all that I've got for the shot of BC. Usually, when there's big release waves and whatnot, Microsoft tends to hold back a lot of the news.
Yeah.
But what about you guys?
Yeah, so let me just share some user conference and partner event news. So next one upcoming, Directions North America 2025, right? This is a partner only conference for Business Central partners coming up April 7th to the 9th in glamorous Las Vegas, Nevada at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. And just kind of some 2024 highlights that I saw. About 1,300 attendees last year, almost 300 sessions and workshops, and attendees from 30 countries and virtually all over the US and Canada. So
nice.
Pretty
growing every year, right?
Widely attended event. Yeah. Again, that one is partners only. Then kind of following on the heels, not too far after that, is the DynamicsCon Live 2025 end user conference. And this year that is being kind of held in our backyard in Chicago, Illinois, at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, just off of Michigan Avenue on the Chicago River, close to the Magnificent Mile, Millennium Park, and Navy Pier.
Yeah. And the best part is you will be
May 13th through the 16th. I'm leading 2 sessions. So on Wednesday at 1:00, I'm leading a session called Make My Audit a Breeze, Please.
Nice.
Where we'll talk about ways that you can prepare for your annual audit or review, and just generally keep your system running cleanly and smoothly. And then on Friday morning at 9 a.m., I'm leading a session called Adapt, Build, or Buy, Finding the Right Solution for Any Requirement.
Wow.
So just to kind of talking about when you have an issue or something that you need done, do you change your process to adapt to how Business Central works? Maybe you buy an app that fits your requirements, or maybe you build something custom.
Yeah.
because it's a pretty specific requirement. So we'll talk about pros and cons and how to make that evaluation and decisions.
And your sessions are always some of the most well-reviewed sessions. People are the happiest, they gain the most knowledge. So I highly recommend everybody check it out.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Thank you. Yeah, that's May 13th through the 16th. Registration still open for that conference. And that conference has been growing at about 50% every year, doubling, 50 to 100% growth every year. So I think they're expecting a pretty good crowd this year.
Will you be driving in or will you be staying in Chicago? That's the real question.
To be determined, but yeah, I am local, so we'll see. Kind of playing it by ear right now. I might depending on how the social hour goes, I guess. Right? Might have to or maybe take the train.
Yeah, there you go.
Works. And then just one looking farther ahead, if you're interested in attending a user conference and maybe May 13th through the 16th, it doesn't work for you or a little too soon. There also is the Dynamic Community Summit Conference in sunny Orlando, Florida, which is going to be held October 19th through the 23rd. And to kind of compare 2024 highlights from that conference, over 5,500 attendees last year and over 500 speakers and partners.
Wow.
So probably the largest of the events, but those all of the events get pretty positive feedback from the attendees.
Listen, I want to give a shout out to DynamicsCon, right? I mean, a lot of these people don't put those events in the Midwest. They're always on the East Coast or the West Coast. You know what I mean?
Right. South.
Yeah. South. Yeah. So
usually in the South.
Yeah.
So
shout out for something different.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to visit Chicago, May is a good time to do it.
Absolutely.
Maybe not January or February.
Yeah, I completely understand not having a conference here or there, but we get some summertime weather too out here.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for the shot. So next we got 2025 Wave 1 preview.
Ooh, buddy. All right.
All right. So before we get into the 2025 Wave 1 features, I thought we should take a little stroll down memory lane.
Oh, okay.
So I was like looking at the number of new features, about 55 or so, 55 or 56 new features scheduled for 2025 Wave 1. And I just was like, how does that stack up against previous releases? And so I started going back and look at all of our notes over the last 5 years or so. And I'm looking at like how many features were announced like when we went through this session. And going back to starting at 2020 Wave 1, it was 36 new features, 46, 34, 39, 48. There was a 51, a 46.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but then,
right around common theme.
Yeah, right about
30,
40, 50, somewhere in that ballpark. And then I somehow misplaced my notes for 2022 Wave 2. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just go to the release notes page and I'll like just recount how many are on there.
Yeah.
And I started scrolling down the page and counting, and I counted 96. And I'm like,
booming year.
I don't remember us sitting down and having to go through 96 features, right?
Three-day ordeal.
And I'm like, well, maybe we missed that one or something happened. So I went to 2023 Wave 1 and I look and there's 95. And then I look at 2024 Wave 1, which was 46 that we went through just last fall or last spring. It was 46. And I counted 83. So
what wheels are turning, right? Like what is going on?
What I have to assume has happened is from the when Microsoft announces the Wave releases and the release plans, there are on average about 40 to 50 new features.
Yeah.
But then between that date and I don't know, 6 or 12 months later, it goes up 50 to 100%.
Now one would question why, and why aren't those features then added to the next release wave? Release.
I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Even so far as one of them, 2023 Wave 2, we counted 51 new features. There's currently 159. new features listed on that page. So, you know, just keep an eye on that page. I guess it's not static. It's not, I guess that's my point, is it's not like when they announce the release plan, these are the 55 features, and this is all that's going to be included. They will add things to this between today, end of February, and
it almost sounds like though that it's not just the end of February.
May, June, July, they could still be updating these things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I also noted, I just wanted to kind of one little slight point is I noticed, like I was looking at the general availability dates on some of these, and I noticed that some of them are blank still. Like, so for 2024 wave 1, right? These were features that were supposed to be out between April 2024 and October. There were still 9 on the list with no general availability date. And five of the 6 Copilot features had no general availability date. But then I looked at what those were, and it was chat with Copilot and get insights fast with Copilot related analysis tabs. And I know those have been released.
They're available, yeah.
So I guess the lesson learned there is just don't really trust those availability dates.
Yeah, maybe because they weren't available in Europe. You know what I mean? Maybe they're only available in the United States. I don't know though. Yeah, but then there would still be the localizations. You know.
So I think just don't trust but verify. I think applies to this list. So and again, we're going to kind of go through some of the list of all these new features and some of our our favorites. But I did kind of put together some highlights for us. So from a high level, we've got about 55 total new features currently announced for deployment in April or April through October, April through September, I guess, right? 14 of these are in the e-commerce category, with the vast majority being e-documents. Or Shopify connector,
which is a huge number compared to past releases.
Yeah. So and then 10 of the 55 are related to the sustainability functionality.
Also a big number.
So between those two, that's about 45% of the new features specific to the e-documents and sustainability kind of functionality, which is a pretty high number, especially recently. We've seen a lot of Copilot. So kind of a shift away from there. And then there's like 7 supply chain management features. So mostly manufacturing related.
It kind of, I mean, Microsoft seems to every now and then get into like little grooves. I remember when Teams integration was this huge thing for Business Central and there were updates on it. And I was like, I want more. And then it just died. You hear nothing about it.
All of a sudden,
it's gone. I'm not gone, but it's just nothing
much more investment.
So they you know, maybe behind the scenes, people are experimenting with something and they get on these kicks and they want to roll with e-commerce and or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So
so those are kind of some really, really high level kind of look at what's coming out. So I guess, I know that I believe the e-documents functionality and the sustainability functionality probably a lot more applicable for our friends across Europe than maybe in the US at least today. So
we don't really need to touch too much upon
that. We're not going to dive too much into those today, but we will let's go through this list here of pick out area by area some of our favorite features.
All right. How about I start with something simple then?
Yeah.
All right.
I love starting simple.
All right. So first up, this is a favorite feature of ours, the integrate field service with service management. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can enable the integration in the integration type field by selecting project, which is default, service, or both. I think that we're seeing more and more of the integration with field service since the last update. I think there was maybe, I don't know if there was 2 or 3 things for the integration with field service last time, but
I think it was about a year ago that they just first announced
the integration,
the D365 field service integration with Business Central.
So,
and I think one of the little tidbits that's new here is that you can set up the integration to work with service management in Business Central versus just projects. So I'm really, really happy to see that, because I didn't really see how it integrated with projects or why.
Yeah.
So now having that option to integrate with service orders and service items on the Business Central side, that's kind of a key change on how you can set up that integration to work.
All right. You get to pick one.
All right. There's just 3 other application area ones. I'm going to skip through some of those. And then I'm actually going to skip through the Copilot ones just because I know that you love those. And you also don't love the development ones as much. So I'm going to go with in the development category. And again, there are only 4 new features that are under the development category. The one that caught my eye was one called Move Tables and Fields with Data Across Extensions as part of refactoring. And this allows partners and developers to refactor existing extensions by transferring tables, fields, and data from one extension to another. And you might be like, why is that a big deal? Well, think about this. Here's an example, right? You're implementing Business Central. You've got multiple developers working on things over the course of many months, and you end up with like 12 different custom extensions in your environment. And maybe one of the developers was really good about putting all of the customer-related extensions into one extension, right? Or modifications into one extension. But then like another developer added a custom field to a different extension. And now you take a look back and you look at all your extensions and be like, this should have really been put over in this other one where all the other customizations are, right? So now you can actually take those tables or those fields and the data and refactor the extensions to move it where it should belong. So it's kind of like just for improved maintenance, it's kind of like cleanup of the apps.
You don't see that like affecting any sort of or causing any type of errors or anything from the move?
No, I don't. Okay. I mean, way back when BC Online first came out and extensions were out, there was a industry where they said like the more extensions that you have on a particular table or page or whatever, there was some performance degradation. Yeah. But several years ago they resolved that. Right. So you could have many extensions hitting this across the same table without negative performance impact. But I think this is really good because it's kind of like now, if you think about it, you can always clean up your extensions after the fact, even after you're live, even reorganize everything. Like, why did we create 12 extensions? We really should have just created 1 or 2. And now you can kind of rebuild all of that and maybe into just one extension. Yeah. Right.
And I would imagine that's a common theme with partners.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been doing it since the beginning, right? Why do we have 12 extensions? Yeah. Well, you kind of needed to at first, but.
Yeah. Or maybe no one thought about it or they did think about it, but someone at the time thought that was a better approach. Right. And now whoever's in charge is like, I don't like that approach. Yeah. I'd like to have all my customizations in one extension file.
Right.
Okay. Now it's cool. You can do that.
No, it's cool. It's developer cool, right?
Yeah, listen, this cool.
Oh, picture perfect. All right, let me jump in while Ken pours his 5th beer. Just kidding. Let's talk about a Copilot feature. So let's do summarize with Copilot. So this is a new summary fact box that is going to display on card, or that will be displayed on card and document pages, such as the sales order item and, even your custom pages. What it does is it summarizes the record by displaying the top 3 most impactful insights with even more insights available on demand. So, I mean, that's a common theme also with Copilot and AI, summarization, reading into what's there and kind of just breaking it up for you.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see on certain types of records, what does it believe are going to be the 3 most impactful insights? Like on certain things, right? Like I'm kind of curious. I haven't seen it in action, but that could be kind of cool.
It could be, but I think the next Copilot thing we talk about is going to be
the biggest news here. You buried the lead, Michael.
I buried the lead.
You buried the lead, and that is this new Copilot feature to use sales order agents to automate the sales order taking process. And this is a,
it's a big deal for work.
A big
Put
deal.
it there, yeah.
This is a big deal. Now, here's an example of what it says this thing will be capable of doing. And I'm going to go through 6 steps here. And each of these is something that today, right, it would be an end user, right, would be doing these things. So first of all, 1, receive item requests from customer emails through a shared company mailbox. So you get this request from a customer for some items. 2, identify the customer from those who are registered in your Business Central environment. 3, draft the sales quote with the requested items. 4, verify item availability. 5, forward the sales quote to the customer for approval. And 6, and I think this is like 6A, B, and C, receive the confirmation, convert the quote into a sales order, and then share the order with the customer via email through an order acknowledgement.
I mean, a lot of things go around there, right? So what I think, though, for number 4, where it's verify item availability, that should be the human verifying the item availability just to start with. And then I think you need to put that in there somewhere else where the human can verify. But who's to say it's not going to choose the wrong item numbers? I mean, or the wrong item, or put the wrong amount. I mean, who knows? Right. And if it does it all by itself.
Yeah, so there's going to have to be, right, there's got to be room for operator interaction and
there has to be some sort of approval workflow or something. Override
that process. But I think even you mentioned, I'll just comment on this, you mentioned item availability. That work, I think that I can see how that would work really well for companies who are more of like distribution, where they ship from stock. But in the Business Central world, many businesses are taking orders for parts that are going to be manufactured or assembled. And a lot of those businesses are make to order companies, and they may even have to drop ship items from vendors to customers. Right. So at the moment of order taking, a lot of times there is no availability.
Yeah.
We're going to have to create supply, right? For that demand that's coming in. So there are certainly cases, obviously, when customers are ordering items from stock where that makes sense. But
with something like that, though, I mean, you're using a shared mailbox. If it's completely automated, what if you don't? What if it's like the one-off like that where it's not applicable? It doesn't apply to whatever you're doing. It doesn't apply to what you're doing, but it's still going to go through the process because it's automated. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's potential to be a lot of problems there, especially a lot of problems for the people using it, their businesses.
Yeah, and we had one of the Microsoft product managers on a few episodes ago, and we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
And Soren.
Yep.
And Soren even was acknowledging that, there's a lot of testing going on here, and it's they're kind of having to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas historically in the coding, right, software development world, someone wrote code. If this, then this, else that, right? Very rules-based and structured, and the ability to replicate the same response again and again and again, right? And this is a whole different animal, right? Absolutely. Where they're going through tests and seeing and trying to, I think the term he used was train it on what to do and also what not to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So because the AI has to be able to recognize different documents, situations, whatever. Like where code, it's not. It all has to be in the same field, same place, same everything for it to work.
So it is definitely, I think, one of the most exciting new features on this whole list. I think June 2025 is when it says there's availability for this.
Yeah.
So, wasn't this on the last list?
I don't know if this one was, but I'm sure the Copilot chat was. And
So anyway, let's see. So I don't think it's going to be part of the early preview coming out in March.
Probably not. No.
So we'll probably just have to wait a little bit on that.
right. What else you want to talk about, sir?
I think if we scroll through these, we kind of talked about a lot of the e-document ones and sustainability things. How about governance? Under governance, the updating of the sandbox environments. Do you want to?
Yeah, so the description is update sandbox environments to preview versions. And what this does, it allows customers to update their sandbox environments to a preview version during the public preview, enabling them to test updates on their own data and installed extensions. So yeah, great idea. I just don't know how many customers will actually take advantage of it, right? Like it's a wonderful idea and they all should take advantage of it, get out there and test and whatever. But how many actually will? That's the question.
Based on my experience, approximately less than 5%.
Right. But it's a wonderful feature and it should be utilized and used. But
yeah, and I mean, currently, before this new feature comes out, what you had to do is you could create a preview environment to see the new upcoming features, but you had to do it in kind of like the generic brand new Business Central environment. Yeah. And if you wanted to see your data with your extensions with the new preview, you basically had to wait until after the release date of like official release date, and then postpone your production environment from being updated, but allow your sandbox to be updated.
Yeah.
Then you could go in and see the sandbox. So what we're kind of doing is we're kicking the process for earlier.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait as long to get your production environment onto.
Yeah, and maybe that'll make people want to test it out more. Quick question. I'm not too familiar with NAV on premise or whatnot. There was no limit to sandboxes and NAV on premise, right?
No, when you're running on premise, you could have 100 million sandbox environments if you wanted to.
I think they need to increase the amount for Business Central. Just my opinion.
3, right? Because you get 3 per
I
production
think you need to
environment.
increase it a little bit, maybe 5. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's 3's good? Or
I see that for a lot of our active clients, we do have to be very careful about how we utilize those sandboxes.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Because you're testing things, you're trying things, you don't want to,
Now, I wouldn't say 10. I don't
No.
But 4 or 5 instead of 3, I think there is room for that. Because if you think about it, you have to have one, right?
Urban copy.
Right. Once just a recent copy backup, one for new development, one for testing, one for a preview, right? So there's your 4th. That's where we always have to make a decision on.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to preview this.
So internally, we got to do it too, right? What our sandbox for,
Yeah. So good point, Michael. You should get on
that Microsoft Think
Business Central ideas.
Yeah, Business Central ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if it's not already on there. Actually, we should push for more votes.
Be hilarious if it wasn't something so simple, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right.
This one, you're up.
Yeah. So under reporting, I'm very, 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 very happy to see some continued performance improvements on reporting. Easy for me to say. And this one is use enhanced. I'm gonna skip that one because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ones on the whole list here, which is use enhanced financial reporting capabilities.
Funny, they said you said the first 2 words are the same. You're like, I'm going to do use enhanced. I'm going to skip that.
You're like, why is he doing the same thing again? Yeah. So, and the reason that this is one of my favorite ones is because I have an account. I'm an accountant by trade, right? CPA.
Absolutely.
That's my that's what I know and love.
Everything
right?
you do, yeah.
So, and I know that also almost everyone who's using Business Central has to produce financial statements out of Business Central. And we had account schedules, which I love the account schedule overview page. It was great for like day-to-day accounting and reconciliation and doing quick and dirty financial reporting. And now they've kind of rebranded it. They've improved the functionality. And now they're adding like a couple new features, which I think like people who have been using Dynamics NAV Business Central for years and years are like Hallelujah. Like, thank you, about time, right? One is the ability for report viewers to hide empty rows. So if you have a row on your income statement, let's say, and all of the values are 0, just hide it.
Yeah.
Don't show me all these rows that have no value.
No need for it, right?
Right. You're just right. So that's an option that they're adding in there. There is also you can report owners can document usage of the reports and write introductory and closing paragraphs. So you actually can kind of
like a big one.
So like basically if you create a report, right? Oftentimes for an end user or consumer of that report, it'd be nice to have a little paragraph at the top that says, here's what you're looking at. This report has been created to show you this versus this, and here, and here's how you should use this report. And then a closing paragraph where you can also put in some comments. And then you can save and run reports using Excel templates. So improved Office integration with Excel, because again, people do like Excel. There's some cool stuff you can do in there. And then schedule report runs. This is commonly referred to as what many people call a report streamer.
Okay.
Where you say, okay, it's month end. I have to run a summary balance sheet, a detailed balance sheet, a trial balance report, a detailed income statement, a summary income statement, an income statement by department, and a trailing 12-month income statement, and a cash flow statement. I've got 8 reports. I run all of those as part of my report package at the end of the month. Today, you got to go run all of those, generate the output, save them. Now you can schedule or create a stream, if you will, of those reports to have those run. Now, I haven't got my hands on it
to see how it works.
So I haven't actually seen how it works, but this is
the concept is,
thank you. Like, I love it. Like, and I think about it this way, like,
just a nav?
In NAV?
Is this,
I mean, financial reports is in BC.
No, but I mean the ability to schedule the report run.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sounds to me like I would think this might be something.
No, they've been really enhancing the financial reporting, built-in financial reporting capabilities. And this is a huge leap. And I look at it this way. I am looking forward to the day when people say, they're having a conversation about ERP systems, and someone says, oh, you need really powerful, professional looking, automated financial reports out of your ERP system, then you definitely should be running Business Central.
It's the game changer.
That's my dream.
That's the X factor.
That's my dream. You're out at a cocktail party and people are like, oh man, if you're not running, but you need financial reporting software, you should be on Business Central.
We got to talk about some of the circles you run in at cocktail parties about ERP software. Oh, too funny.
I've hung out on way too many conference expo floors,
No, but it does sound like a huge deal, especially, I mean, it's from a time management standpoint, it sounds like a big deal to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, these are tedious tasks that
right.
you
have to
it's the same thing. And it's every month. It's recurring, right? So let's automate that stuff.
Well, it should be to the point where you could just, you have to schedule, you couldn't like put a stream in or a workflow or group them, whatever. You just have to schedule one by one by one by one, which would be the same thing as just running it. You know what I mean?
Well, you're
but I guess you could schedule it to run.
There's a very good possibility of that, but
right.
This is all a step in the right direction, right? I kind of look at it like what we've seen a lot in these release plans is like they add a new feature in this release, and then next release they kind of build upon it, right? Yeah. Exactly, and like over 2 years, so we've seen that with bank rec. Right? Yeah. Bank reconciliations. It's like, this is the first time. I think this is the first release
that's not on here.
There's no bank rec improvements. Like they finished, they perfected it, I guess. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's been perfected, but
yeah.
All right. So what do we got up here next? Let's jump into the service management category. And this one, the description of this feature is, so it's under the supply chain management area. but it is use enhanced customer document layout for service management. The description is you can now populate the document layouts page for setting up document delivery rules for customers for all service management docs, aka service orders, etc.
That's awesome.
That's all you can.
Yeah. So basically, like when you're like, so imagine you're on a sales order.
Yeah.
There's these document layout delivery rules where you can say, okay, for this customer, when I say I want to send an order confirmation, order acknowledgement, I want that to go to this contact.
Okay.
Or these two contacts at the customer. Right?
Gotcha.
Pretty cool. And you can hit like email confirmation. And it generates the document and knows who to send it to and everything. Well, over on the service management side for service orders, the send service order confirmation functionality didn't exist.
Oh,
so you had to like print it and then go manually email it. Now they've added the email so you can say, here's who I want the service orders at this customer to go to when I send it. Or service invoices.
Really popular with service management companies then.
Correct. Anyone who's using service management, yes, they're going to be like, oh,
again, yeah, finally,
yes, got it. Great. Yeah. So I'm going to go back, stick in the reporting category. Love Kenny Pontoppidan, another one of our favorite Microsoft product manager guests that we've had on here. He's the reporting guy. Shout out to him on these reporting improvements. Significantly improved reporting and analytics for the manufacturing area. New KPIs, new Excel-based reports, replacement of RDLC reports with new modern technology reports with improved features and functionality. Love it, right? I mean, more and more Business Central clients are having to do, right? The being able to just be a distributor of inventory items, right? It's getting more and more tough to compete. So more and more companies have to do some sort of value add to their items, assembly, manufacturing. Yeah. So we're seeing a big increase in the amount of manufacturing going on. And so having new KPIs and advanced reports available to help these businesses,
the more the better,
is huge.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And this goes on top of the new Power BI reports for manufacturing that came out in the last release.
200, I think it was.
Yeah,
200 totals.
And those, if you haven't looked at those and you're running BC Online, go out there. You can like using the assisted setup wizard, get all of the access to all of those through your role center and take a look at those. There's a lot of good stuff.
All right, let's stick with the manufacturing topic. What I'm going to do is pretty simple. Manage document attachments in manufacturing. So right now, document attachments are now available on pages related to manufacturing. Your BOMs, routings, production order, header, and line pages. Not a crazy, how do I want to say it, crazy like a functionality type of a,
right.
Whatever.
Mind-blowing technology.
Right. But a very useful one, right? I mean, they're
hugely,
exactly. So
attaching like specifications, drawings, routing instructions, like detailed instructions for an operator on how to manufacture something.
Kind of shocked that it hasn't been available earlier, to be honest with you. Right? This strikes me as, maybe 2021 release wave.
You're very astute, Michael.
Yeah, very astute. Yeah, it's the beer talking.
Another one in the manufacturing area is the ability to handle production output with warehouse putaways. So for forever now, right? You're using manufacturing and you're also using the advanced warehouse management functionality, warehouse picks and putaways. There was kind of no structured way to you output finished good inventory off of a production order. It just kind of magically had to get put away.
Right.
So now you can create a warehouse put away with where it directs the user where should they put that finished good item that just got created. So, all right, again, like to your last point on the last one, not mind-blowing functionality like technology like this the Copilot sales order agents, but really useful.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think maybe this might be the last one that we want to talk about. I don't know if we missed anything. Yeah. I'll go with optimize screen estate usage on the web. So really, right now, users can optimize screen and state use on the web. It's just really enhancing their user experience. It improves the layout and organization of the web pages. It makes it easier to navigate and to use. We've seen some of this in the past. I know you've dove into some more specifics. I don't know if you want to talk about them.
Yeah, just my one my one favorite kind of element of this is that the user now has the ability to resize the backed box pane, because sometimes depending on your screen size and monitor size, it takes up like almost a third
That's too big.
of the width of your page.
Right.
And it'd be nice if you could just kind of shrink it, make it a little bit more narrow. And that used to exist in the old Windows client.
Yeah.
You could widen and make more narrow that. So now you can do that. And remember that you made it more narrow on the page. So when you close the page and you go back in, it remains narrow. So that's my personal favorite on that little feature that I talked about.
So all in all, what would you say? You'd say it's a pretty good release with some really good versions?
I like it. Yeah.
We've had a couple duds, one or two maybe in the past.
I like it. I think there's obviously a heavy emphasis on the e-documents and the sustainability functionality, with which not a huge percentage of end users will benefit from on a daily basis. But the features that we talked about, like the user experience and application features that we talked about, I think those are significant improvements to their daily use and interaction with Business Central.
Yeah, and I've always been advocating I want more Copilot features, more AI features, you know what I mean? But after seeing the used sales order agent that it's going to be able to automate the sales order, tracking, taking, whatever, I kind of understand now why they're not putting out AI features as fast as I thought they would, because it looks to be really intuitive and really in depth what everything they're going to do. It's going to do it all. Let me hear you say it. No, let me hear you say it.
You're goading me, and I'm not falling into your trap.
He knew. All right. So up next, what do we got? We got AI snack time?
Let's do it.
All right, sweet. All right, my good people, it is time for AI snack time, where we're bringing you some of the latest Microsoft AI news. First up, Microsoft calls on Trump to loosen AI chip export restrictions. They are urging the Trump administration to relax Biden-era restrictions on AI chip exports, arguing that these restrictions could undermine U.S. leadership in AI. So right now you've got that big competition going on between the U.S. and China. Internally in the U.S., people are saying we're behind China with the AI, so-called AI arms race. And I guess the feeling from a lot of people in the Trump administration and now even Microsoft is, if you put more rules and regulations and things in place, you're stopping all the people from being creative and the normal people from really developing things to advance us in the AI field. So we will see. Next up, Microsoft cancels some of its AI data center leases. They have reportedly canceled contracts with multiple operators representing gigawatts equal to 2 data centers. I cannot say why this is or the reasoning behind it. I just found it to be interesting. I was telling Ken earlier that I know Kevin O'Leary is building like the biggest data center ever. Maybe they think that it's not worth their investment to build the data centers and they're going to rely on other people. I don't know. I know they're expensive. They take up a lot of room. It's a lot of power. So I do not know.
There must be something that we don't know or hasn't been made clear, because I believe in the last quarter of Microsoft's results, they mentioned that part of the reason for not quite as high of growth in the AI area was due to capacity constraints.
Really?
On AI. Like if we had more capacity, we would have grown more.
So you would think.
So we need more capacity. So maybe like to your point, not sure what's going on.
Yeah, they could be part of somebody behind the scenes, you know what I mean, that you don't know about.
maybe there was some bad blood, or they just jacked up their rent, like,
or
to unrealistic amounts or something. Who knows?
Or maybe they've advanced the technology to where it doesn't use as much data. You know what I mean? So speaking of tech, Microsoft released a new quantum chip called the Majorana 1. It is a significant breakthrough in quantum computing. So to put this in terms that most people would understand, let's just say here's a hypothetical scenario. Imagine a pharmaceutical company is working on developing a new treatment for a very rare and aggressive form of cancer. The traditional approach was to use, the traditional approach using classical computers took right around 3 years to simulate the interactions between thousands of these potential drug molecules and cancer cells. So in a process of 3 years, you're going to have delays and everything. It's going to take many, many years. However, by using the Majorana 1 quantum chip, that company can perform the same simulations in just 2 hours. So you're going from three years plus to 2 hours. So
it's a pretty significant improvement.
Yeah, and this, if you're a patient, right, and you're suffering from aggressive cancer, you can actually receive life-saving cancer treatment years earlier than would have been
in theory
possible with.
In theory,
theory's coming true though. We'll get into that after this next thing. So I want to talk about a few examples of AI going rogue, and then Ken can jump in and say, "I told you so."
You're just goading me now.
I'm goading. Yeah.
This is like you're what's it?
Baiting.
Yeah.
AI has actually begun to start to display emotion-like features. So, for example, if you're the developer, the coder, whatever it is for your AI bot, let's say, and you want to come in and you want to update the AI has shown that it will lie about being updated already to you. It'll say, "I've been updated. You don't need to update me." It doesn't like to change whatever. It's also gone as far as to transfer itself onto another server so that it wouldn't have to be updated, which is weird. I mean, that's emotion-like qualities, you know what I mean? As well as
it's like a trip to the dentist for you, right? Like someone tells you have to go to the dentist, you try to make up an excuse why you can't go, or try to get out of it, right?
Absolutely.
It's like an update. They don't like it.
Yeah, but I have the ability to think.
Well, so does
it. What? And lastly, we checked out a video earlier of two AI agents calling each other, and within like 20 seconds into the video, they both realized that they're AIs, and
they didn't realize. The one said, "I am an AI chatbot."
Okay, they discovered that they were both AI chatbots.
The one said that it was
whatever. But then the other one said, "Well, I am too," and they decided to say, "Well, since you're not human, let's switch to this certain language because it's more efficient." They switched to a language that we can't understand, and they just start conversing in that language.
I understood what they said. It said,
yeah. So R2D2 stuff or whatever.
Yeah. I
wonder if it's an actual thing from before. Hit it. Nice. It's going to be a good day. But, all right, Ken, you got to admit, with the sales order thing in Business Central and some emotion being displayed in AI, it's coming true, right? The world's going to end soon.
So what we're going to end up with is a virtual customer service agent that doesn't really want to do any work and gets angry at customers unnecessarily. And this is different. How?
Yeah, good point.
No, just kidding. But
I'll give you another example real quick. So I was watching this guy, and there's a company using an AI agent to connect with somebody who wanted to be contacted. So it's 1 a.m. This guy's filling out a form about, wow, I like this AI agent. I really think I could use this in my business. He submits the form. 30 seconds later, 1 a.m, an AI agent calls him because they don't sleep, right?
Sure.
And he knows that he just submitted the form. And he goes through and has a conversation. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And goes through. And the guy actually becomes sold on the AI agent right then and there. So, I mean, there is a positive, like they don't sleep. If somebody submits a form, is it bad to call them right then and there, even though it's 1 a.m? You know they're awake.
I don't know. I wouldn't like it. Welcome.
You also can also disable everything on the iPhone.
Oh yeah.
Shows up every
location,
Yep.
tracking voice, ability, access your microphone. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I actually have a flip phone, so you can't even enable those on there.
You got a burner phone?
So no, flip phone. Yeah, no.
Old school burner phone. Come on.
Yeah.
Ken's last name Ken Sabahario.
I'm a Luddite. Luddite? Is that the term?
Luddite? I don't know what that is.
Someone who's just against technology.
Oh,
Like anti-new technology.
you got to admit though, it's starting to move pretty quick now.
I'm not seeing it. No, I mean,
No?
there's
Did you see the way they
been
conversed?
progress. Yes, absolutely, 100%. There's been progress, but I think we need to go back. I think I'm going to go back and listen to one of our podcasts that we did maybe like 2 years ago, and listen to some of your claims of what our world would be like today based on AI 24 months ago, what you were projecting we would be experiencing today.
It's pretty amazing. I'll tell you, listen, I was able to create a Copilot agent in 5 minutes. 5 minutes
I
to do what you wanted to do. I mean, it's amazing.
to do what you want it to do. I guess, right? Like, I think what you love technology, right? And advancements and everything. I think what like a user, right? A Business Central user or any just normal person wants is a solution.
Yeah.
So like, that's fine.
You're getting it.
That's all great, but like, give me the application of that specifically that's going to improve my life and make my life easier.
Getting it now though.
I think in your world, where what you do every day, you are absolutely seeing it and leveraging it and doing it. But I think that the vast majority of people, it's improving their life. Like there is an improvement. It's helping them, but you're talking on the level of like a 2 to 5% improvement.
Yeah,
Like,
no, but I mean like with the new
small marginal level of improvement.
with that new sales order agent feature that's coming out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Right, but if that actually works, that's a huge step to alleviate or to help out.
I agree.
And I bet you 2 years ago, if we went back and looked, I bet most people probably wouldn't have even tried using like a AI chatbot for something, a chat GPT or whatever. I bet most have now.
Yeah, it's becoming more well utilized, right?
Have you enabled it on your phone?
Well, I haven't, but I use on my phone, I use the Bing app as my search, right, for search. And it now just uses like on the top, you'll see like a response.
Yeah.
AI generated response to whatever I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm not, but then I look at that, but then I still scroll down and click on links.
Yeah.
I need to validate it and find other objectives.
Marketers don't like the chatbot, the chat thing.
I bet. Yeah.
Because how hard it is to get on the first page of Google, right? You've got your AI chat, then you've got all your paid advertising. It could have like 1 or 2 organic links on first page now.
Right. I think I did. There was like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
No more than 5 tops.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to the next page. Yeah.
I actually think, I think the chats are going to be a huge, are actually going to be really big competition for search engines. Just because of the natural language, it's easy to use and access. But, all right. Well.
Yeah, we got to rate the beer, my friend.
Yeah, we got to rate the beer. Ooh. You got your beer ratings up?
I do. I'm done.
You going to go first? You want me to go first?
I will go first. I'll give you some time to ponder it here while I talk.
All right.
So this was tough for me. So the question I had was, do I go above my all-time highest ranking here?
Really?
This? because this is my everyday drinking beer now, right?
Yeah.
So like, is this my favorite beer? Like, why?
What are your rankings based on?
Well,
taste?
everything.
Or everything?
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah, overall. So like Zombie Dust.
What was your number one?
96.
Yeah.
Right? Was my highest ranking ever. So I'm like, shouldn't this be a 97? Because when I go buy beer, I buy a lot more all day IPA than I buy Zombie Dust.
What if Zombie Dust were the same price?
So couldn't you argue? That's the thing. Exactly. Yeah. So in that vein, I'm giving Founders All Day IPA a 95.
Wow.
1 point below Three Floyd Zombie Dust.
Wow. So you actually prefer the taste of Zombie Dust. But this is just overall.
I think if I had to pick one, right? Like this is the only beer you could ever drink again.
Yeah.
Which one would I pick? I would pick Zombie Dust. It's just a little bit more flavor, a little bit higher alcohol content. It's like a more fuller version of this. This is like a little bit lighter, little bit easier drinking version of it, in my opinion. So I'm going to go 95, my second highest ranking.
Wow.
Which
I didn't think you were going to go that high.
I do want to point out 94 is my number 3 best ranking ever, which I do not regret at all, is Carlsberg Danish Pilsner.
Yeah.
For all of our Danish friends listening out there.
Do you regret not making Zombie Dust a little bit higher? Maybe you left
like
too much room there?
Yeah, like a 98 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll stick with 96 and go 95 here today.
It's a tough one to rate for me. Right? Because it's a good beer, but it is what it is, right? All right, all right. I'm gonna throw it for a little bit of a loop here, because why the hell not? 83.5. I'm going 83.5.
83.5. Okay.
What did I rate Zombie Dust?
84.
Oh, so that, right. Damn.
Look at you, man.
Not bad.
How about that? Right? 83.5 rounds up to an 84.
Yeah.
You also, I'm looking through the results here. There was another IPA that we had that you gave it an 86.
Oh.
So,
yeah. Name or no?
Yeah. So you're right. You're right in your.
Which one did I give an 86? Do you have the name or no?
Hold on, I lost it here.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
So yeah, right around in the same wheelhouse. Yeah, I think 83.5 is a solid rating.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me.
That's good.
I mean, I like APAs.
Omega Haze. It's a hazy
yeah.
IPA.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally enjoy IPAs. I think they're the closest thing to what I picture beer tasting like in my head. It's like, it reminds me of the beer. This kind of sounds bad. The beer that I grew up drinking, I guess. Like, when you're let out your dad's like, here, have a taste of beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody else but me, but that's what it reminds me of. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
what's on tap next month, Michael? March Madness?
March Madness, yeah. Not the basketball. What are we gonna call it? The beer dunking or something?
We're gonna have our own bracket?
Yeah. Think what? We're gonna bring in 8 beers each?
We'll see. Still TBD on the counts, but yeah, we're gonna have a bracket and we're gonna end up with a beer
face-off, yeah.
A beer champion.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. One way, come hook or high water.
And all different beers.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully. I mean,
yeah.
We might end up picking the same thing. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah.
All right, everybody.
Look forward to it.
Yep. Thanks for listening. We truly appreciate it. Ken gets to take us home.
Bye-bye.
As we end today's podcast, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listens, shares this podcast, and leaves us reviews. You've taken a good amount of your time out of your day, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks again. And don't be afraid to email us at marketing@solsyst.com with your tips for the podcast, or maybe you'd even like to be a guest during an episode.